Welcome to another episode of Definitely Not Therapy. And I can't stress this enough. It's definitely not therapy. I will be sitting down with a different stranger every single week. Honest, unfiltered chats about life. All the struggles, all the highs, all the lows. Real people, real stories, real talk. And ultimately, to spread awareness around mental health, especially around men's mental health. We'll be talking about how we fall apart, but how we put ourselves back together. Well, how we try and put ourselves back together anyway. It's definitely not therapy. In this episode of Definitely Not Therapy, I'm joined by Alan. Now, Alan has struggled with his mental health, he's struggled with addiction, and he's seen some real lows. But he's come out the other side and he's doing some incredible things now. And it all changed because of one thing. Now, Alan is a representative of Andy's Man Club. And if you haven't heard of Andy's Man Club, they are the biggest suicide prevention charity for men in the UK. And what they do is incredible work. And we're going to hear all about it today. Now, for me, Andy's Man Club has been a consistent in my life for the last 2 years. And the reason they have is because the most common message I received when people see that I was struggling was go to Andy's Man Club, go to Andy's Man Club. Now, completely honest, I never went. I didn't go. I couldn't go. I didn't have the courage to go, and I wasn't ready to go. But Alan did. Alan did have the courage to go, and it changed his life. And he's going to tell you all about it today, all about the lows, all about the highs. I'm going to go into details about why I didn't and why I think a lot of people won't have the courage to go to one of these clubs, that they're there to support us. They're there to give men a safe space. They help men across the whole of the UK, and I'll do anything to spread awareness to bring the suicide rate down. At the moment, I believe it's on average 12 men a day we lose to a suicide, which is 12 too many. I think you'll agree. So we're going to welcome Alan onto the podcast. This is Definitely Not Therapy. Definitely Not Therapy. First of all, Alan, welcome to Definitely Not Therapy, and thank you for joining me. I'm really excited to sit and talk to you and listen to your story. As you know, I'm speaking to a different stranger on every single episode. I think it's really important to talk to real people and get real stories. I think that's the best way to spread awareness. I think also for people that are kind of sat there now and they might be really going through it, they might be struggling, they might be able to relate to some of the things that you say, and they might be able to think, well, I was there and I went through that, or I'm going through that. And to hear how you've come out the other side and how well you're doing, hopefully that might give them the inspiration to, do you know what, get up and like, I can do that too. I can get up and I can move forward with it. And I'm really excited because obviously you are actually my first guest from Andy's Man Club. I've got a lot to say about Andy's Man Club, and I'm sure you've got 10 times more than I have to say about it. So yeah, so welcome to the podcast, Alan, and I'm really pleased that you're here, mate.
Cheers for that.
Before we sort of get into the sort of heavier stuff, I just want to sort of get to know you a little bit.
My name's Alan. I am 50 years old, late diagnosis of neurodivergent conditions, ADHD, autism, on a good medication and stuff to combat the sort of confusion that happens with it, but also rediscovering myself, rediscovering my own brain and reintroducing myself to myself with a non-masking of neurodivergent living. It's a wonderful journey to be going through at the moment. As I say, just turned 50. I've been diagnosed about just over 3 years now. March 2020, I quit drinking.
Okay.
Alcohol. I had drank for 28 years of my life, and I was wasting my life. I was coping through heavy drinking and toxic behaviours and hanging around toxic groups of people who were in the same sort of mindset of it's the party, but don't worry about the hangover and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just not a great way. So, yeah, this March 29th this year, I was 50 years old that day and 5 years sober on the same day. So,
wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Hugely. The biggest gift I ever gave myself was sobriety. I've got to say. It really was the best present.
Were you a big drinker then? You said that you was a heavy drinker, but are you like every day you'd have a beer or is it?
And I would drink every day. Yeah. If you put spirits in front of me, it became more bingy and more dangerous. Late 2022, I quit smoking weed and cigarettes as well.
Okay. Is that something that have you been smoking all your life as well?
36 years, weed and cigarettes, not just cigarettes. That was a weed for 11 years old.
Wow.
Up until just not 3 years. Again, a hugely proud thing in my life was to say, this is not doing anything to make me happy. This is a damn expensive thing to be doing, and it's actually unacceptable to be doing it. So I think it's bringing on behaviours that were really dangerous and worrying. So with getting rid of that addiction, my social circle went from a lot to nothing in the blink of an eye, and that was my choice to do that.
Did you find that hard though?
I'm going to be quite honest. Drinking, easy.
Yeah.
It was like a switch. It was like turning a switch off.
Okay.
Weed and cigarettes was psychologically incredibly difficult, and I struggled to stay on that path, but I stayed on it. I've never deviated. And going through grief of severing ties with friendships of 30 years and stuff was incredibly difficult. It was like a divorce and grief at the same time.
Wow.
Because I had to be hard on myself. These people were not right in my life for me.
Yeah.
They are on their journey, and their journey is still smoking and drinking. My journey is non-smoking, non-drinking. And if that person can't be around me and not drink and not smoke for a couple of hours when they're spending time with me, then they don't deserve to be around me anymore. You know, that was my choice, and it was a difficult choice to make.
Yeah, I bet.
And this is all before Andy's Man Club come into my life. Andy's Man Club come into my life coming up 3 years. So this was before Andy's Man Club come into my life. I had made all these transformative changes for myself.
Can I ask, you made these changes, which I appreciate aren't easy. You know, the fact that you dropped the drink, you dropped the smoking, you dropped the smoking drugs. That is not an easy thing to do. So you said it was easy to quit the drink, but did you get any, was there help? Did you have help? Because if you're saying that you sort of dropped your support network at that time, so how did you get through that without a support network, I guess?
Drinking, we were in a pandemic. I was working full time. I was working 15-hour shifts with clients who are sight impaired with additional needs. So my focus actually was that I didn't have time in my life to drink alcohol.
Okay.
Because I had people that were really relying on me when our world had been turned upside down. So my focus was make sure that the people I'm supporting were safeguarded from a respiratory illness. I was still smoking weed and cigarettes, like I told you, by the drinking. It was such an easy transition to say, I want to keep my job. We're in an unknown world at the moment. I want to keep my job, and I want to do the best to support the people that I'm around. So yeah, the craving for alcohol disappeared pretty quickly, I've got to say.
Wow.
I hate the smell of it. I won't go to pubs at all and socialise, even for a juice or a coffee. I don't see the point of spending quite a lot of money for a latte in a pub when I've got a barista machine in the house.
Yeah, no, I'll feel you on that. I'll feel you on that. I've never really been a drinker. I've been quite fortunate. I think it's when you go through any kind of trauma, I think it seems to be the first thing a lot of people jump into. And I was very conscious of that. And there's a few other reasons, which I won't go into like loads of detail, but growing up, my dad was, but as an old school guy, but he would drink a lot, and it kind of made me back off a bit from alcohol. But when you was at your point of making a decision of, right, I'm going to stop, was there a low point? Did you hit rock bottom, or was there something that happened that made you think one day, right, I'm changing?
I think it was when the little rumours in February came about that an airborne virus, blah, 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 blah. Well, let's not even give it any more time, I was phoning friends standing at bus stops after leaving the pub and crying for no reason. on the phone. And when I mean crying, I mean absolutely just sobbing my heart out on the phone. But there was no backstory to what I was crying about, because I didn't actually know what I was crying about. It was just kind of this lost sort of abyss of loneliness and isolation. This is before the pandemic, this is a month before it happened. And it built from there. So I don't know, like the lead up to pandemic, I was already in this kind of lost landscape of mental health, and I'd been a sort of build from my mum passing away in 2015 to my cat passing away in 2016 of watching things I cherished and loved very, very much leaving my life, and not being able to help them live to just before lockdown, just saying, I don't know where to go anymore. I don't know where is this sadness coming from, where's this emptiness coming from all the time. So nowadays I will do a half marathon or walk 30 miles for charity rather than grieve for someone's passing. And I did do this 3 years ago for my nephew. Aaron passed away 23 years old with a heart condition, and instead of sitting, and I do grieve for him, I grieve for him very often. His little ashes are up in a wee pendant up here. I walked from Edinburgh to Grangemouth for Vasculitis UK to raise awareness and funds for him, and to remember Aaron was in his ashes were in the pendant while I was walking with Michael Dion. So rather than grieving and feeling lost through it, I done something proactive. This was before Andy's Man Club coming in my life.
But this is a real change, though, isn't it? This is a real, like, you've gone from like the grieving. I don't know what the terminology is for it, but grieving negatively and going into an abyss or a hole or a depression, and you've taken it and you're using it for positive. You're using it for good, which is just amazing.
Redirect it, redirect the way the grieving process works for yourself. It might not work for everybody, but and of course, living a sober life, losing an incredible amount of weight. I think I do believe I actually tipped the scales over 20 stone in 2019 to 2020. I'm sitting at a healthy 76 kilograms at the moment.
Wow.
So about 12 stone, maybe.
It's definitely not therapy.
I went to a presentation about Andy's Man Club.
Okay.
So a nighttime thing. I was pretty tired, but I went along to it. I was like, do you know what? What is this all about? I've heard about it. I need to go along and find out what this Andy's Man Club's about, because I keep hearing about it. So went along. It was Big Alex, Alex is now the area lead for Scotland. Andy's Man Club paid worker, I've run half marathons with Alex and Kenny. I've done Roadside Free Peaks with them. I've done Tough Mudders with them. We work as a team. We support each other. We encourage each other. We don't judge each other. But Alex hosted that presentation, delivered it, and I think it was 6 weeks later, I finally walked to the frame of North Merchiston Andy's Man Club door. And as I'll always say this in meetings on a Monday night to the boys, the kindness, the handshake, the encouragement and the compassion and the smile that welcomed me in that door made me feel like I was at home. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful welcome into our community, and it really was, because I was sceptical about talking groups.
Yeah, and I do think it's hard for men. I think it's hard for men to open up and talk anyway, especially if you think, I've got to go into a room full of other men and I've got to talk about my emotions and what I've been through, and I might get upset and I might cry. Like, I'm just not going to put myself through it. And I think it's you get in your own head about, or I could speak for myself, I get in my own head about it and think, well, that's just going to be too intimidating. If you're already quite an anxious person, and I despite, I'm online and I post videos, but I'm quite an anxious person, put me in a crowd of people that I don't know, and I'll just be the one that's sitting back watching and kind of taking everything in. And and I think it's difficult until I started speaking to people like yourself who have actually been, and every single person said the exact same thing. The hardest thing was walking through the door, and then everything changed. From that moment, everything changed. Everything was easy. It was like that 10 seconds of pushing yourself and doing it But anyone that's sat there now thinking they want to, but they're too scared or they're too nervous or they're too anxious, just be brave for 10 seconds. Be brave for 10 seconds, walk through that door, and it will be worth it.
That welcoming handshake and that guidance by your sweeper on the door that will take you and guide you through the room into the main room. You'll be welcomed in by another facilitator who will go through the guidance of the meeting, And it is about celebrating that you've done the hardest part of it and being proud of yourself. And I will say it, and I will forever say it in meetings to the boys. If I feel the tone of the meeting is changing within I run with the boys that facilitate with me. I run the Andy's Man Club and the Hibernian Community Foundation in Leith, the Herb Stadium.
Okay.
We're coming up to nearly a year old. So I'll say to the boys every single week, if I feel that tone is changing within that circle of guys, it is about making sure the boys know that vulnerability is the most powerful emotion that you're going to show. Any human being is your vulnerability. Never think it's a weakness. It's the most powerful, strong emotion you can show. And crying is the most universal language in the world. It's a protest. Crying is a protest to let us know that we can't say the words, but the emotion needs to come somehow.
Yeah.
So we cry, and animals cry, babies cry, because they can't form the words to tell us what they want to say, so they cry. So crying is natural, but it's also powerful as well. It has to come out. These emotions need to come out, and they're powerful. They're not weakness. It's not about that you have to man up. It's about speaking up, not manning up. You know? But all hashtag that one man at Andy's Man Club, because Andrew died by suicide over 9 years ago. It wasn't for that absolutely horrific life-changing event for Elaine and Luke and his family, this wouldn't be about. I've met Elaine and Luke. I've met the whole entire family on multiple occasions, and the story hits raw every single time I navigate around the family when we're doing fundraisers or runs or kilt walks or whatever it is we're doing together, or just getting together to play bowling, But I will forever be grateful, privileged and proud to be part of such a huge community of like-minded, incredible men who are just out there. We're nearly 6,000 guys a week every Monday night, except bank holidays.
Except bank holidays.
That come and show powerful vulnerability within that meeting. We do share about mental health, which brings on mental wealth, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
I hope that phrase starts to get traction about mental wealth from mental health. Your mental capacity should have an expensive monetary feel to it. It should feel like you're rich within your mental wealth, rather than mental health. So, but has Andy's Man Club starting as a service user to coming through the ranks to do the training, and I will admit I really didn't think I had it in me to be a facilitator, and it turns out, lo and behold, every guy has got it in them to be a facilitator. It's consistency coming along, knowing the guidance, knowing the city policies and what we talk about, what we don't talk about, listening to a guy's story, not giving advice on that story. Just listen to that guy, let him share that story, let him know that he's being heard, that he's being validated, that he's being incredibly courageous by talking about mental health rather than coping with it in other ways that we've generationally been taught to do.
Yeah. It's a hard task, but I believe that change will happen, and I think clubs like Andy's Man Club are the reason that change will happen, and spreading awareness around that is key. I think Andy's Man Club is of course, huge now, and that's gone from strength to strength, and what is still must be growing week on week.
I think we're at from update, I think we're at 302, maybe 303 clubs nationwide, and over 100 clubs online as well, which is the same meeting, it's just done online. And again, I mean, I'll forever know that it's okay to talk. I will say that. I mean, this is, I think I get actual cramp in my fingers by doing this so often, but I don't mind doing it. But it's the hashtag that one man as well. I'm not just a facilitator with Andy's Man Club, which I'm proud to be. And I lead my own Andy's Man Club location.
Okay.
That's coming up nearly a year. But I'm also presentation, safeguarding, social media trained as well. So through the charity, they have put me through all this extensive training.
Wow.
I absolutely love editing in Canva with Andy's Man Club through their account.
Would you have seen yourself here if you think to you 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, would you have sat there and thought, I'm going to be a facilitator? Obviously, at that time, you might not have even known who Andy's Man Club were, but to even think, would you be in this situation of being a facilitator where you're helping all these other people and you're driving something that's really important forward? Would you have seen yourself in that situation?
In my heart of hearts, probably not. Probably not to this extent. No. If it wasn't going to be Andy's Man Club, it was going to be some kind of mental health support I was going to be eventually navigating into. But Andy's Man Club, I would have said no. I don't, in a million years, think I would be sitting now so heavily involved with this charity. And quite rightly, this is what I want to be doing. This is where I want to be in my life at 50 years old, front and centre with suicide prevention and intervention in Scotland. I'm digging myself, I'm digging and carving paths into making sure that the awareness, not just the awareness of suicide prevention, but intervening to help people keep themselves safe for now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are aware of assist training.
No, I did. So I saw it on your research notes and I thought, do you know what? I'll ask you about it so that you can educate me, because I actually didn't even really know what a facilitator was, other than the information you'd given me. So if you can sort of, I'd love to kind of get a bit more information on what your role is as a facilitator, and also what assist is and how you got into that and what that's about.
So all us facilitators start off as service users. We get consistency of coming to the meetings and making sure we share and making sure we safeguard ourselves as well as a service user, but also watching the facilitators that are already in these roles and sort of learning from them. And if a guy's got the confidence within a few months, like usually about 3 months into consistently coming, put ourselves down to get registered for the facilitator training, and it is online. It is one training session, and that's you got your training done, and then you basically come into your meet in the location you're going to be facilitating in, and watch the guys and learn from them and step forward with your black and whites on to the different roles within a Monday night at Andy's Man Club, which is lead facilitator, who will lead the group with, give me a second. There is the talking ball.
Okay. I like it. Okay.
Yeah. So the talking ball is also a massive stress ball.
Okay.
So it comes back to its form. No matter how much you squeeze this, it comes back to its form. So the lead facilitator will have the circle set up. The facilitator set up the room as well, a circle of seats. Your talking ball and your guidance notes are on your lead facilitator's chair. There's a tea and coffee station set up outside with free biscuits as well, and juices and stuff. And then if it's a venue that might have steps up to it, we always have a lift for someone that might not be able to get up the steps. But if it's on a first floor, wherever it is, there'll be a board between the levels with a sign saying Andy's Man Club this way type scenario. Got to keep the ball there. there is a facilitator on that staircase. If it's a staircase, there'll be a facilitator on that staircase. So it's always, you're always being met by a guy with a hoodie on with the black and white or a t-shirt on with the black and white. You're always, every step of the way, there's someone there to encourage you to keep getting into that room.
Yeah.
And there'll be a facilitator walking with you. So your lead facilitator, and then you've got your co-facilitator who will sit next to him. He's your co-support, and in the circle of making sure the guidance is being adhered to properly, but also making sure that is supporting the lead facilitator within the meeting as well. If for any kind of scenario that might come up, just as a second support, or seeing something or hearing something that might need addressed.
Yeah.
Downstairs at your front door, you'll usually have two guys that'll be sweepers. One sweeper who will always be the gentleman who will take the guys upstairs, handshake, welcome in, be proud of yourself, again, especially for a guy for the first time. Our regular boys, they will make sure I get the other facilitators to remember something about every guy.
Okay.
Obviously, remembering names, but remember something for the week before to ask about before they even get through the frame of the door. How did da-da-da go? Brilliant. Get yourself up the stairs, get a coffee, we'll get started soon. But
that'll make people feel really valued as well. That's like a really kind of walking up to that and knowing someone can
you just remember something about somebody, you know. It doesn't matter how small it is. It's a small gain is a big change.
Yeah.
It is about getting the guys sat down, making sure that everybody's got a tea or a coffee or a juice and everybody's comfortable. And then it is that the lead facilitator will read out the guidelines of Andy's Man Club, welcoming the guys in, our regular guys, welcoming our newcomers in, making sure, really, I'm stringent on making sure that everybody is celebrated for getting through that door every single week without fail. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen them. Make sure they feel celebrated for getting on that seat and talking, because it is about consistency, and that consistency, again, is about the small gains that become the bigger transformative changes, I think.
It's definitely not therapy.
So once guidelines are out the way, housekeeping, we go into how the questions are, and the guys that come every week know that, but the new guys that are coming through the door are the ones that will be like, oh, what are these questions about? And it's your question one, and your sort of introduction is, if you're happy to say it, who you are, your reason for coming to Andy's Man Club, and how you've been feeling that week, that 7 days, good, bad, sad, happy, whatever it might be. It's all in a snapshot. Isn't it like I wore yellow socks on Tuesday with a pair of brogues and I went to Aldi. We've got 2 hours to do 5 questions. It's not really about stringing it out. It's about quick fire. This is what we're... Because then you get a true emotion as well. So your question 2, obviously go range your circle, and it's that every guy gets the ball past them as the talking ball. So when they have the ball, it's their turn to share and talk.
Okay.
No one should be interrupting and giving advice or over talking on each other. It's about respect.
Respect, yeah.
And but if they don't want to talk, they can just pass that ball on. As long as they're at that meeting, eventually it'll happen, you know. It's in their time. So even guys that don't talk will just come anyway, and I still love that.
Yeah.
So that goes round. I love to make sure the boys are, again, validated, celebrated on every end of a question. Question 2, a positive of your week, or something you're proud of, or something you're grateful for. And again, it can be a snapshot. I'm a firm believer in make sure the boys know that it's to get something off your chest. And if you've got a week where things are actually good, your question 3 can be used for that. It can be used to say, do you know what I forgot to say in question 2 about what I'm grateful for, or a positive of the week? So I'm using my question 3 for positivity, and that absolutely lights up my heart. It lights up every part of me inside when a guy's sharing positivity in his question 3, because he's showing that changes have happened.
Well, that's progress, isn't it? Because they walk through the door with just nothing but negative, everything's bad, and then
negative energy that's been thrown at you over generations, you know.
I think that's amazing.
That is your snapshot. Very quick rundown at Andy's Man Club.
I love that. I love the fact, 'cause I believe that laughter is okay. Look, obviously some topics are tough, and depression's tough, and talking about suicide, all these things are tough. But I think it's not about making light of a situation, but if you can get someone to a point where they can laugh, for you to be in a situation, I know for me, if I've been having a conversation with someone and they've opened up to me and they're feeling down and I've made them laugh, like there is no better feeling than that for me. And it's going to be different for everyone, but I do think it's nice that you inject a little bit of a lighter side of it, a bit more camaraderie.
Absolutely. And I think and we make sure it's kept appropriate as well. I mean, we're all boys, we're all men, and it can get a bit. But you know what? The boys, I think the wonderful side of it is the boys are really respectful that we really don't know what someone is thinking about inside. So if we're having a joke, that's brilliant, and I love it, and I love a wee bit of banter, and all the boys do. But remember to be mindful that someone could have trauma we don't know about, that they've never spoke about, and that joke might be a bit too close to the bone for them. But that's kind of a snapshot about it, how Andy's Man Club works. And of course, I better get in there. It's 7 till 9 p.m. every Monday except bank holidays. It is www.andysmanclub.co.uk, and you put in your postcode, type into the locator your postcode, and you will find the nearest Andy's Man Club to you.
It's definitely not therapy.
I absolutely love this charity.
Yeah.
I adore what it's done for men's mental health over 9 years now. I absolutely adore navigating around this charity. There's a freedom that I've never had in a volunteer role since I started doing this.
Yeah.
But the assist training, as we were just talking there, assist is a course that you pay for.
Okay.
A 2-day course you pay for. I actually decided to just pay for it myself. I just, Andy's Man Club or Movement for Memories with Edinburgh Leisure, Healthy Active Communities that I volunteer for, they've not got budgets to put volunteers through these courses. They're £140, That's one person, that's a lot of money. I don't smoke or drink. I don't eat junk food. I don't go out to restaurants and stuff because it's in pubs and I feel it's a bit overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
So I budget well that I can do these courses. But ASSIST is Applied Suicide Intervention Skills Training.
Okay.
So basically 2-day course of hearing the word suicide over and 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 over for 2 days solid, 8 hours a day. Role play of talking one of the trainers who becomes someone who is hell-bent on dying by suicide.
Yeah.
Off a bridge. So, and getting into acting and how you would navigate the conversation of getting that person to get themselves with consent, and it's called Safer Now. It's not saving them. It's called Safer Now, to get the help there and then for them, so they are safe for that moment. I absolutely loved doing this course. I really, really loved doing it. It is a tool that I'm going to be able to use for the rest of my. You renew it every 3 to 5 years. For the rest of my life. That I can now proudly say to Police Scotland, if I walk past an incident of someone who is in the thick of what I died by suicide in that moment, I can walk past and say to them, I'm assist trained, and they can get me involved and help and intervene.
Okay, so that's what I was going to say. So for a couple of things I wanted to say. One, you're clear, just listening to you talk about Andy's Man Club, you've got so much passion for it, and obviously for wanting to help others, which is just incredible. That's just incredible, and there needs to be more people like you, I think, definitely. And in terms of the assist, so that comes into play. So if you're in a situation, you can be there to help, but what other situations would that kind of come into play? Is it a case of within your group people know that you've got that, and then
So now that I'm assist trained, I do now know how to recognise an invitation to talk about suicide. Yes, I do.
Okay.
That's an absolute incredible tool to have, is to understand behind someone's language, behind their chat, what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Other facilitators can't use that technique because they're not assist trained.
Yeah.
I should be leaving my assist training at the door, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Because it's Andy's Man Club, it's not assist.
Yeah.
But there is tools that can be transferred over. I'm really grateful. I'm really, really proud of myself, to tell the truth, that these are out of my comfort zone scenarios and trainings that I've put myself through. Because as I said earlier on, I really want to put myself front and centre within intervention and prevention of suicide in Scotland and in Britain, and getting communities to know that it's okay to talk. It's okay to feel vulnerable without shame. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to actually hurt. It's okay to feel lonely. It's okay when you're feeling depressed, because other people are feeling these ways. This is not just one person. People feel like this, but when communities start encouraging each other to talk about it and being open about that, suicide is not a taboo. It's not a bad word that we shouldn't be talking about. We shouldn't be hiding that suicide is happening from other generations, because these generations as well of youngsters are experiencing these horrific dark feelings and thoughts that they're not talking about. What they're doing is they're using social media and emojis and electronic language to express an emotion, rather than physically opening their mouth and talking openly with their parents.
Yeah, which is creating like a whole demographic of people that it's going to be even harder for them to talk unless we buck the trend now.
Yeah. As a knock-on effect to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next. Where are we in 50, 60, 70 years, I mean, I'm not going to delve into that, but where are we then? But I will say to the boys, the men in our, specifically in our location, and if I meet up with other guys from other locations,
it's definitely not therapy.
If your child has done something wrong, which they're all got to do, something wrong, and make mistakes, and make bad choices, and be a child, be a kid, be a teenager, be a youngster, remember how you navigate that conversation with them.
Yeah.
Through letting them know that it's wrong and it's inappropriate and whatever that conversation might be, how you navigate the language of it, because your child is never, ever, ever going to stop loving you, but your child's going to start loving themselves when they're treated away through being berated or belittled through punishment. If you know what I mean? I'm not saying didn't make a big deal of it if it's something horrific, but it's a mistake that they will learn from. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. We won't go into too much detail, but parenting has changed so much since I was a child. I was kind of brought up to respect my elders, and we should still be, teaching that to our children and respect your elders. But there was a kind of fear there. It was a kind of, my mum would say, right, I'm telling Dad when he comes home, and I'd immediately be like, whoa, okay. Yep. Whereas now, kids, if a mum says, right, well, I'm telling Dad when he gets home, they'll be like, yeah, that's fine, tell him, and I'll tell him as well. Because what can you do now? You can't. Yeah. And for new parents, I'm a new my daughter's going to be 5 next month, which is crazy, but it's like everything's new. Every little step is new, and how do you parent when you've never been taught how to parent? You just remember your parenting when you was parented
generationally,
and it's different.
You've got beliefs through generational.
But it's a whole. I mean, that's a whole other episode. I've got some.
You're absolutely right. But there has been a couple of occasions where the boys have said, "You're spot on. You're spot on with what you mean. It's the tone you use, the language and the tone you use when you're navigating these conversations." I say, but remember to tell them that you're listening. even when you're angry with your child, tell them you're listening to them, because sometimes they might think they're not being heard, so they'll act out.
Yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
you know. But and a few lads have went home and hugged their children hard that night. They've hugged their children hard because they've realised that they've probably went too far with a conversation when they've been annoyed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but remember not to feel guilt or shame for yourself, because you are doing what a parent does, is being a fucking amazing, brilliant parent. So, you know, but I think the way I live my life is I am not anything special to no one. I don't want to be anything special to no one. What I want is for people to know initially that a neurodivert brain doesn't mean your worth and your purpose are any less than anybody else.
No.
My intelligence isn't any less than anybody else because of the way my brain functions. I'm quite an articulated, intelligent guy. I give 90% of my week goes to working for charity.
Wow.
90% of my week is charity based, and it's Andy's Man Club, Sporting Memories, Healthy Active Communities, which is a project called Movement for Memory, which is coaching gym sessions with men that live with dementia. 5.5 years ago, if you told me that I was going to be Andy's Man Club, Sporting Memories, Movement for Memories with Healthy Active Communities, I would have said you were off your nut. I would have said you were actually off your nut. I would have told you to settle yourself down. Settle down. Don't talk nonsense. Me. And now here's this guy sitting in front of you.
It's definitely not therapy.
My Monday night is my reset, and it's my catapult.
Okay.
And
okay.
My week, whether it's a good week, a bad week, a crazy week, a traumatic week, it doesn't matter, because I'm still going into it with a reset for Sunday into Monday Andy's Man Club. But also to watch a man walk into the gym who is absolutely lost, being erased by a brain disease. To watch a universe at the corner of his eye just burst open when he's doing a workout with you might be the most incredible piece of magic I've ever watched in my life.
Wow.
I can't describe it to other people what I see when I'm working with my client.
Yeah.
But as this little universe, a spark opens at the side of the eye, a wee glint, and I'm like, there he is.
I did just want to say one thing, which was you'd just said then. What? First of all the things that you do it's so like humbling that you do so many things for charity and you give so much of your time to help people. And you made a comment about you aren't anything special and you don't want to be anything special, and I appreciate that. But I bet if you ask a lot of the people that you've helped, a lot of people in the clubs that you volunteer for, they would disagree. They would say,
"That's all lies. How dare they?
How dare they?"
I don't go searching for gratitude, because I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I live a healthy life. I'm not going to delve too deep into it. My dad is going through a battle with his health at the moment, but by consent, I'm not going to go into it. But we are, as a family, we're building bridges again that I thought probably might not be able to be built. And it took a cancer diagnosis for that to happen. He's in a good place. It's treatable.
Okay, well that's good, and I'm sorry to hear, and I hope that he does. I hope he's okay.
We are navigating as a support to each other, and it's no living in each other's pockets or texting each other every day or anything like that. It's meeting up maybe once a week, once every 10 days, depending on how he feels, but making sure that my stepmom Jackie, my dad, my wee sister Michaela, that we're hearing each other, that we're hearing the emotions behind conversations as well, that we will get through this together, that we will beat cancer together as a family. We'll do fundraisers once he's feeling a bit better and stuff like that. But that's just another layer to how I live with my privacy as well. No one knew about that until yesterday.
Okay, so you've been holding on to that.
Was March. So
Oh, wow.
giving back to my community is where my purpose and worth lies within me. I will say to anybody that feels like I can't get a job at the moment, I don't feel like I'm worth anything because I can't find a job, it's really difficult. Give back to your community, start volunteering.
Yeah.
Get experience behind you by doing a bit of volunteering for a food bank or the Healthy Active Communities with Edinburgh Leisure or Andy's Man Club if you're attending a meeting. Go through the facilitator training. But going ahead with physical endurance this year, I'm again just crazy mad with kilt walks in support of Andy's Man Club. Tough Mudder Scotland for Andy's Man Club. I done an attempt on Ben Nevis right at the beginning of April, and that was for a young guy called Andre, who is living with frontal temporal dementia at 23 years old.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
That has been one of the toughest fundraisers I've been involved in, because I've got to know Sammy Joe and Andre and Alistair personally. I've not physically met them, but I've done video calls and FaceTimes and phone calls, and I'm talking about not just when it's good. I'm talking about when things are bad.
Yeah.
When things are not great for his parents. And making sure they know that Andre's still there. He's 23 and he's going through changes that no 23-year-old should ever have to go through, is to lose who they are in such a short period of time. And we smashed the target. It was called Andre's Army. We attempted it in April. We got 1,062 feet for the summit, but the weather was just horrific.
Oh, really?
And safety first. It's safety over ego.
Yeah, of course.
But we still smashed the target, and I'm still in touch with Sammy Joe and Andre as well, as much as I can be. But it doesn't stop there. I've done Glasgow Kilt Walk, Aberdeen Kilt Walk, Tough Mudder, Yorkshire Free Peaks Challenge for Andy's Man Club, which is 24 miles over 3 peaks, and I've done it in 9 hours 32, I think it was. Piston, constantly. But, it's about the awareness. It's not about how difficult it was.
Yeah.
But just coming up now, I've got Dundee Kilt Walk, Great North Run, half marathon, Edinburgh Kilt Walk, Great Scottish Run, half marathon, and then I think that's me for the year. I think that might be me for the year if I don't put in the 17-mile Pentlands Edinburgh Challenge for Maggie's Cancer Centres. I might be doing that as well.
I mean, you're just non-stop, aren't you? You just.
I've got more energy than the sun.
I mean, that's incredible. You said that you were 50. You turned 50, and to get yourself into the and this isn't about. You're never too old. You're never too old. But and 50 is a young age, and I appreciate that. But it's not an easy age to shift that amount of weight, and to get not just to shift the weight, but to get into the fitness level that you're at to compete at that level is just astonishing to me.
So I went from chunky bloated to really, really thin in 2 years. I went to 8 stone, maybe under. So I lost a lot of weight really quickly with walking and thinking about my diet, cutting out bread and potatoes, completely just cutting them out of my life. I still barely have bread and potatoes to this day, but because I now know they're my Achilles heel for weight. So that's the way it is, because I've got no self-control.
Right, okay.
It is that if that thing's not doing something good for your life, and this is a running trend, that it will just keep happening. Just cut out of your life.
Yeah, but you're very good at that. But it's not easy. Have you got any advice for anyone? Because you've done it with alcohol, you've done it with drugs, you've done it with smoking, you've done it with foods. But it's not easy to do these things. And I'm not suggesting that you're saying it is easy, but you've got this mentality that you can just switch it and you just have a target and you're like, that's what you're going to do. But what advice would you give to someone that does want to try and quit?
I think any journey you've got to go on, let's not call it a plan, let's not call it resolution, let's not call it new me, all this kind of stuff. Get rid of all these terminologies that make you feel guilty about yourself.
Yeah.
It's a journey. It's your path. It's a discovery. of where you're going in your life, and you carve it yourself. I can't stress that enough to any human being on this planet. You carve your path. No one else is carving it for you. You carve it yourself. Just like Andy's Man Club. We don't get the guys in to save their life on a Monday night. They're there to save their own. They're there to change their own life. We are not there to change their life. I can't stress that one enough either. We are to encourage and not judge. That's what we are. That is our sole purpose of being proud to be Andy's Man Club facilitators, is we encourage guys, we don't judge them, we listen. Start any journey or path that you're carving, because the carving is the hard part, and I'm not going to deny it. Carving your own path without unsolicited, unwanted advice is a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Start off slow. Start off within your ability, not the ability of a personal trainer you're watching online.
Yeah.
That personal trainer's coming for how they would work out, know how you would work out. So you start off with your low weights, or if it's overeating, take that portion size down by a quarter every day. Even just by a quarter every day, and then 2 weeks after that, by a quarter again.
Yeah.
Which becomes half of what you were eating. But exercise, start off the basics.
Yeah.
Start off the basics. Get to a gym and walk around the gym. Don't actually do anything in the gym for the first twice that you go. Don't even do anything. Walk around it. Familiarise yourself with the machines by even looking at them and seeing what they do. What does this machine do? Not getting on it and not knowing what it does.
See, I did the exact thing that you've said don't do there. So my first day in the gym, and I hadn't been probably for over 10 years, and I walked in, and it's quite an intimidating place. It doesn't matter how friendly everyone is. I find gyms intimidating because everyone's in there in their vests, and they're like, oh yeah, good reps, man, or good set, whatever, and they're like fist bumping, and I'm just like, so I went in and I was like doing stomach crunches, and I think I did like something like 150, which is a silly amount for someone that was overweight like me. And I had, it was a great effort, but I cramped the next day. I was struggling, and then I went over to the running machine, and I was like, and this was just, I mean, no one probably even noticed that I was there, but I took probably 15 minutes. I was going to all the different machines. I was on the cross trainer, and I was pressing the button and it wouldn't switch on, and I was pressing all these buttons and nothing would work for me. And I was like, oh God, this is embarrassing. I don't want to have to ask someone how to do it. And eventually you just have to get on and start, and it just starts up. But it took me about 15 minutes, and I don't know, people must have been watching me. I was going around pressing all the buttons. I was going to all the different machines, and it is quite scary. So you're probably right. Just take your time, unless you want to put yourself in an embarrassing situation like I did. But take your time. Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's really good advice.
But also, I think a lot of people that are triggered and scared about getting into a gym and a gym setting is everybody in there is battling their own demons.
Yeah.
Even these muscular Adonis triathletes are battling probably some horrific dark thoughts and demons that you don't know about because they don't show it.
Yeah.
They don't show it because aesthetically, we generation over history, if you look good, you must feel good.
Yeah.
And that is absolute fucking bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Going from experience of knowing guys who are professional athletes that have went through just horrific stuff, you know. But be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
If you have a stumble in the road on your whatever path you're carving, whether it's weight, mental health, addiction, gambling, whatever it might be, if you have a stumble in the road, that stumble could be one of many, or it could just be the one. It could be one stumble and that's it, it'll never happen again, or it could be many stumbles in that road. And if you give up on that first stumble and then try again and give up, and if you keep going, one day it stops happening. The sort of I've made a mistake again.
Yeah.
But it's about accountability, not guilt and shame. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important to, and it's not necessarily easy, but it's important to learn something from it. You know, you might stumble 3-4 times, but do you know what? If you stumble, learn something from that and then move on. And if you stumble again, learn something new from why that's happened again. And then eventually, like you say, the stumbling will stop and you'll come out the other side. And one day you'll just think, oh, I haven't, it's been 5 years. And, you know.
Yeah. It's madness. It's madness how I'll have many people from my past bump into me now and be astounded.
But they probably don't recognise you for a start.
Yeah, they're astounded by the transformation. They're astounded. I delved very quickly into a very quick conversation of how life is different. It's that jaw to the ground moment.
Yeah.
What dementia in the gym, Andy's Man Club, running half marathons, climbing mountains, cycling 40 miles in a day, and that's just because I wanted to cycle 40 miles that day. It wasn't that I was set a challenge. I wanted to cycle 40 miles, so I cycled 40 miles.
Wow.
You know? And there's always a symbolism behind it. I cycle out to Aqueduct outside Edinburgh that's incredibly, incredibly peaceful and beautiful. Historically, it is a known suicide point.
Okay.
But I don't have that symbolism behind it. I have that it's beautiful.
Yeah.
The beautiful swans that are there that are the most angelic, majestic animals I've ever seen in my life. And they always honk at me to say good morning. It's beautiful. So.
Oh, that's lovely.
Aye, definitely. But this type of like a podcast and a bit of acting maybe next month and assist training in Andy's Man Club, these are things that usually would be out of my comfort zone. I'd usually have a lot of anxiety and self-doubt and self-worth issue leading up to it.
Okay.
And I did a wee bit yesterday. But what I do is I jumped into the group chat for Andy's Man Club, which is 420 odd facilitators around Britain, and said, this is happening tomorrow, guys, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know that I am feeling a wee bit like, will I come over in a good light for Andy's Man Club?
Yeah.
And it was put to bed straight away. They were like, you have the most presence we've ever seen as a facilitator by the awareness that you do. So don't you worry about how you have got to come across.
Well, I think you've come across brilliantly, Alan, and I think you've really shown a passion for Andy's Man Club, and I appreciate you opening up so much. I've actually got 4 or 5 other people from Andy's Man Club booked to be a guest on the podcast. I've also been, and I don't know if I can talk about this yet, I'll check with them, but I've had a meeting with Andy's Man Club. We've got they're doing the longest conversation. I don't know if you've heard about this. I
think so. We've got a leaders group chat. We've got a facilitators group chat. There's a lot of group chat.
Yeah, I bet.
I think something did come up about that.
Well, it's in.
About this.
Sorry.
I found out about this through the Google chat.
Ah, did you? Okay. Yeah. So what? For other people saying that
I'd seen you already, but someone went, oh my God, I'm getting on this form. So it was actually the link had been put into our Google chat to register for this.
Ah, well, yeah. I mean, I'm really pleased. And if there's anyone else, if you put in the chat that you've done it, you're my first Andy's Man Club, but I've got 4 or 5 others, I think, booked in. I'd speak to anyone from Andy's Man Club. I'd have one on every single day if I could. I think it's such a great cause. Yeah, the thing that I'm doing with them is they're doing something in London, which is it's a 12-hour live conversation. There's going to be celebrities, there's going to be guest speakers, there's loads of stuff going on. It's 12 hours because 12 is the amount of suicides that, it's the amount of men that we lose in Britain. Yeah, I think that's in Britain. I don't know if it's different in Scotland and Edinburgh, but...
And that's over the nation, yeah.
That's over the nation. So, yeah, so they're doing a 12-hour. It's going to be really impacting. And to be fair, even before I'd released an episode, Andy's Man Club were in touch and they'd asked me to come along and be part of it. So I'm really honoured. And I feel like Andy's Man Club are just, they're it's just an incredible cause. It's definitely not therapy. Just to sort of put you on the spot a little bit, just to kind of make make it a little bit lighter, similar to actually in your format of your Andy's Man Club meetings, but I always prefer to end on something a bit lighter. So either, if you can, give me your best joke, or tell me something that sort of really made you laugh in the last week, something really positive or that's made you laugh in the last week.
So I like to do lip syncs on TikTok as a wee bit of daft fun. My cat's usually always involved in these little lip syncs. He has no clue, but the hatred in his eyes is brilliant. You can see him literally rolling his eyes, going, "Oh my fucking God, here we go again." He's got the camera at me, so it must be something daft. But something that's been giving me a lot of joy in my life recently is one scene from Coronation Street,
right,
with Tracy Barlow, and I think it was years ago. I think it was actually years ago. Tracy walks into the room and says, Sinead goes to her, "Hello, Tracy." she goes, "Oh, hello, Sinead. You look nice, you bitch." And it has made me fucking laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I don't know why it must be an autistic thing that no one else finds it funny at all. No one finds it funny, but I think it's the most funniest thing I've ever heard.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
You can
and
actually find it on TikTok. That's the best there. Hello, shit. You look nice, you bitch. And I just think it's brilliant. But joke. Now, where do we go on appropriateness?
As listen, if
because I don't, I'm like, oh right.
Shall I give you a level of where you can go? I'll give you. So the first joke that I told when I did a podcast a year ago, and the first joke, it was just after I'd announced my separation from my marriage, and my first public podcast thing. My joke was, "What do my ex-wife and a tornado have in common?" 1 minute you're being blown all over the house, the next minute the fucking house is gone.
I remember. I've actually seen this. I've seen this.
So you can be as inappropriate as you want. You can be as
right. Yeah, I think you might just cut this, but anyway, because I don't know how you would feel about that. But how do you circumcise a hillbilly?
I don't know.
You kick his sister in the jaw. Is that too much?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's making the cut. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And I'm probably gonna recycle that joke and use it for my own. It's brilliant.
Yes. But this has been absolutely wonderful. It really has. In fact, I'll put you on the spot. I've got a question for you.
Go on then.
If you could star in any film, what would it be?
If I could star in any film, either Titanic, just because it's so iconic.
As Rose.
Huh?
As Rose.
As the one that's painting. Right, I'd be like the cameraman for in the back of the car. I'd probably be. I mean, who wouldn't want to be Leonardo DiCaprio in anything? You know, if the question is, who would I play? Then I would be Leonardo DiCaprio in maybe Wolf of Wall Street. You know, because that was what a journey. Also, it would have to be something funny. It would have to be like maybe Superbad, something that would just be funny on set constantly.
Yeah.
But I think Titanic is just such an iconic film, and it was, for me growing up, it was like one of the first films I ever went to the cinema to watch, and I didn't really know anything about the Titanic. It's this grand thing, and it's been a feature of my life ever since, researching conspiracy theories and this and that, and I think I'd want to be Leo in that, really.
Perfect. And just before we go then, where is your happy place and why?
My happy place is, and this is going to be an obvious answer, but it's just being with my little girl. Anywhere with my little girl. Anywhere with my little girl away from the house, if I'm honest. It's if we're in the park, if we're in getting pizza, if we're in the car singing, but it's with my little girl.
Absolutely. And that was questions 4 and 5 for you last week.
Good questions.
Well, sorry, this Monday there. So there you go.
What was the best answer that you had for the film that someone wants to be in?
Mine was Death Becomes Her.
Great film.
Any of the two women that take the potion, or drop dead gorgeous because it's just a crazy, funny, wild film about Jeffrey does. I just thought, and it's got some hilarious, Tracy Barlow.
Tracy Barlow.
But yeah, my happy place is at the gym or being around Andy's Man Club boys.
Wow. Well, listen, thank you so much, Alan. I have so much enjoyed speaking to you, and I'm so glad that you've come on, and I'm so glad to have spoken to someone that's so passionate about men's mental health and supporting a club like Andy's Man Club. So thanks for coming on, and yeah, I mean, keep doing great things, and hopefully our paths will cross again in the future. I've been through Edinburgh to get to Scotland, so you never know, I might head up that way. I don't know if I'll ever be fit enough to do a kilt walk, but
you should. But remember, it is okay to talk as well, and we can't stress that enough. I can't stress that enough, and the guys that meetings in the charity as well. Get guys speaking up rather than manning up all the time.
Love that. Well, thank you so much, Alan. It was lovely to talk to you. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Have a great week, all right?
Take care, Alan. Bye-bye. That was Alan, Andy's Man Club facilitator, and what a lovely man. He does 90% of his time he gives to charity. He gives back to helping people. And I think the big thing that comes from that for me is it's okay to talk. It's okay. As Alan would say, it's okay to talk. If you don't feel like you're ready to go to a club, well then, do you know what? You might want to join online and just observe and just ease yourself into it. But I think the key thing is a lot of people that I'm speaking to about Andy's Man Club, once they're brave enough and they make that decision to walk through that door, things get better, things get easier, because you immediately have a support network around you. And that is the most important thing that you need, I think, is a support network. Not everyone can just flick a switch and quit addiction or drop people from their lives that are bad. Sometimes you do need a bit of help. Sometimes you do need a support network. But always remember, you're never alone, and there's always going to be someone there. Just remember, you're never, ever alone. You're never alone. You're never going through something on your own, even though it might feel like it, even though you might not be able to get out of bed today. Try again tomorrow. And if it doesn't work, try again the next day. But you're never alone. There's always going to be someone there that can talk to you. There's so many groups. There's so many charities. There's so many people that will be willing to help. And I encourage you to try again tomorrow. And try again the next day, and keep trying. And do you know what? One day you'll look back and you'll think, how did that happen? How can I not have got out of bed that day? Look how amazing things are now. So I encourage you to go and do your best. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching, and can't wait to see you on the next episode. This is definitely not therapy. Definitely not therapy.